Welcome. I'd like to call the meeting to order and say happy spring. I think it's here. I'm being optimistic. Glass is half full. We're done with everything. Companies have the approval of agenda.
Was at 4 o'clock.
No, we changed this. Rose has to leave in the afternoon.
Oh, do you have? Do you want that? No, we're at SFJ. Yep. Linda and I switched around and we're confusing everybody.
I think I'm on this committee, I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Brian's drinking hope tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're on.
Thanks, Brian.
There you go.
Boy, spring is really here.
I'll give you that one.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And, second, John, okay. Thank you. Anybody opposed? The declaration of community interest? None. So then, Safety, Security and Health Committee minutes of February the 17th, 2026. But please have a motion to accept those. Thank you. Linda? Any comments, deletions? They're all good? Okay, next, no delegations, nothing on old business. 0 on new business. So we will go down to 8, correspondence. And we have 8A, 1, 2, and 3. They are all reading material that everybody has done. with enthusiasm, and it's just like, yes. It's like a homework at high school or college, university. Anyhow, I could put all 3 on the floor, and someone can make a motion to accept all 3, and then we're gonna have comments or responses if anybody would like to say anything on all 3 of them. Linda? Brian, you're good with that motion?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, any comments on any of those 3 public health roles and responsibilities in emergency response? Unapproved minutes, February the 19th, 2026. And then the 2026 to 2028 risk management plan.
On the first one, Rose, it says, we ask that you send us the most recent version of your municipality's emergency plan and contact lists. I don't know if we're going to do that, but emergency plan contacts seem to work very well. Right on the very first letter.
Yeah.
That was my question too, is whether we're in contact with them with our newest list, and did we have to actually engage with them in any of these in this emergency?
Public health?
Yeah.
Yes, they've been monitoring longer. So
That's since we had to do with the public health board,
So
the particular
that
emergency.
I've seen.
And they do have a copy of our newest emergency plan.
They would have, and I think that there's nothing that I have sent forward, so everything would have been current with them prior to me, so. This all happened pretty quick for me, so I have to catch up on who needs what after the emergency.
Any other comments? One comment I have on that was a few years ago when we had the 5-day hydro, I mean, they remember the big storm we had. I was not impressed with the public has to bring districts and how they handled it, what they did. So we had done much better in our own municipality. Okay, next is 8B, Ministry of Emergency and Response email correspondence regarding emergency preparedness week 2026. The motion accept. Not the
Make that
correspondence.
motion.
John and Brian? Dale?
Well, we certainly have had an emergency. I don't know how prepared we were, but they talk about the highlights. Being prepared works best when we bring neighbors and community groups, municipalities and organizations together to support one another and to protect Ontario. Well, I think we had an example of that this past week. Once we had the emergency, we certainly acted and worked together with all those. What we just read. I think in the future, we need to take that next step and be prepared ahead of time. We could not stop the flood. But there are things we maybe could have done in an early warning that might have mitigated it a bit. I enjoyed reading this one.
Is that a topic we can talk about with the group? Is it your concerns or your?
Yes, oh, definitely. I think some kind of a drainage committee should be struck right from Sandfield, Big Lake, representatives, Mindamoya, business, Providence Bay, that whole system. If we're just looking at that drainage, I think, but then a committee like that would deal with any type of drainage concern. I'm not sure, I haven't wrapped my head around agricultural field drainage, that's taken care of by the drainage superintendent, but yeah.
If I may, Madam Chair, we will be having a debriefing meeting after everything settles down, and I think that's a good point for that.
Thanks, Sue. Okay. Brian, did you?
Yeah, I just want to say that we didn't just practice emergency response. We lived it. And I think as a group and me as an observer, I think we came through it as best in an emergency we can. We had a fantastic group of people leading us, and it should be left in their hands to debrief and what went right, what went wrong. But I think at the end of the day, we were as prepared as we could be for an emergency, because there's no signs going in the paper for most emergencies. They just happen within an hour or 2 hours. And I think our group responded as best as they could. And kudos to all of them. I know that most of them put in long hours to make sure this thing flowed, so, as well as the water did. So.
Thanks, Brian. Anybody else?
Just, I think it was nice that we were able to bring in the tools and the manpower. Other municipalities on the island didn't, and we were able then to supply our expertise and sandbags and volunteers and everything out to those residents too. So, I think all of that needs to go into this debriefing and, all become part of the plan. So, because it is for our neighbors too, like the letter says, so. Good job.
Yeah, John? Oh,
Stevenson.
I know, that's right. You just,
I think the one thing that I saw that was a little disheartening is when our hospital closed down. I understand why, but the reason is not forthcoming. I do understand that the transfer station, the pumping station down up the street was over capacity, but over capacity for what reason? And that'll definitely be on the topic, I'm quite sure, for discussions, but I think that was the hardest thing for me to see and hear, people being transferred out of Mindamoya to everywhere else but. So, yeah, look forward to seeing what the report has to say and recommendations.
Yeah, I would hope that would be part of that degree.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Saying that, I think the hospital did what it could. It was there as long as it could be there for the patients and emerge. The whole fact of the pumping station, the lack of pumping at that level of the hospital just made it impossible to, and then the water advisory situation, it just made it impossible to have patients. They had to move out, and those patients, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. But they got a bed somewhere in another hospital. They'll be coming back hopefully soon. When things get sorted out in the next few days. And I think they did as well as they could.
it affected a lot more than that though, Rose, you probably know that because it affected all our chemo programs and everything, which had to be canceled for a lot of patients because, either they couldn't travel to Sudbury or Little Current, so it was a lot more than just our patients moving, like, there was a lot of programs that the hospital puts on that, weren't allowed, so it's all something that's gonna have to be looked at as a master plan.
Okay, next, 8C, Ministry of Natural Resources email corresponding regarding new regulations under the Wildland Fire Management Act and the Ontario Ready for 2026 Wildland Fire Season. Now, motion to accept that correspondence, please. Brian, Linda? Anybody would like to have questions, comments on this?
I will.
Go ahead,
Once
Jerry.
again, a lot of it relies to amps. Amps works for our residents, but not for our tourist residents. So how is any of this going to help? I mean, how do we charge tourists
Yeah.
under amps?
Sorry. I think you're asking, for parking, that will be under the MTO Paris, so anybody can receive that, ticket. And they're not gonna be able to renew until they pay. You're right for tourism, if we have, I mean, for people visiting, if we don't have a property to find someone to charge them, then it can still be a ticket given to them if we know who they are. However, that there could be a future need for a collection company. And this is what many municipalities do. Otherwise, there's still the POA we can lean on if we need to. But just depending on how it is that we get to people, honestly, with someone, anybody can deny giving me their information for me to write a ticket anyway. So are they gonna take a bylaw officer serious? I'm unsure. We haven't really had that issue yet. I would involve the OPP and, anything serious, the OPP would charge. So they would support me, but we will still make it work using all the resources we have.
Okay, no, I was just wondering how we have an art to deal with the amps, like,
Right.
program, because that's where they can charge. Staff time, helicopters, like the whole 9 yards, so like, how are they gonna make amps work is
Yeah.
another one, so. Anyway, I just had some questions to it, when I saw the change in regulation.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, next, City of Greater Sudbury Council email correspondence regarding worsening health issues and the need to restore public health unit funding. Motion to accept correspondence on that.
I'll give you that motion.
Thanks, John. Richard?
No, haven't looked at this file even.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Brian, good, thank you. Anybody, any comments on the correspondence?
They
Yes.
were asking in the resolve, were they not asking for a letter? Well, the letter of city, but are they asking all of the municipalities to support?
No,
No, okay,
no, it's just saying what they're doing,
okay,
I mean, that's.
they're not asking for any support here.
Not that I read.
Okay.
How does this, how does this affect our local hospitals? The same way?
I don't know. What it, no, this has to do with the, uh. Health units. which-
Yeah, yeah,
Go ahead, Derek.
yeah, like our health units and everything else, here on the island, does this affect us as much as it does the city center?
Alternate funding.
Good question, because are we not, they're talking about how much they've been cut off,
Yeah,
public
Yeah.
funding, right?
yeah,
I
Right,
think they're referring to water testing, their field inspectors that go out and inspect, food sources. Contaminate, like food contamination, and all that, I think that's, and maybe fuel beds and all that, I don't know.
They used to
They used to do
look
all that.
after water,
Yeah.
but now they don't.
No,
It's up to you to.
so they've had their funding cut and they're just cutting to us, so.
yeah, it's a 75%, 25% municipal cost sharing, so.
Yeah.
I wondered how much it was affecting us.
okay. Anybody else comments on that?
Well, the shortfall of 3.2 million, let's hope they don't decide to spread that out amongst the municipalities.
The assumption would it be a 75% increase for those that can use of the system.
Next is a evening, Manitoulin Southern DSP email correspondence regarding the fourth quarter CAO activity report, March the 19th, 2026. I'm just gonna put that one on the floor, if the next one is, I can address the other, it's just the, E2 on its own. A motion to accept the fourth quarter in CEO activity report. Linda, thank you. John, okay, thank you. Any questions, any comments? On the report? Okay. E2, municipal support for affordable housing. So, I have a motion to accept that report, and then we have a discussion on that, or I'd like to have a discussion on that. Linda, would you?
I don't know, because I'm not very in favor of this motion they're asking us to approve.
Well, no, they're just, I'm not saying, it's a correspondence.
Just
We don't have to do anything with it. I would just like to discuss it.
Okay, I'll motion the correspondence.
Okay. Okay, so as, if you read the VSP, report, it says that it has 878 active applications for housing. One bedroom is 647, two bedroom 101, three bedroom 77, and four bedrooms 53. So then this report for this correspondent comes out and it talks about affordable family sized and senior focused housing in the community. They're asking us or municipalities to help them. The other is provincial funding as shovel-ready projects are required to access funding. And then exploring opportunities for land support where feasible, including long-term leases, land partnerships, or municipal-owned parcel considerations. And they're asking for all of this because, well, we need housing. So, my thinking on all of this is that we have a church sitting there. So. I would like to see, or we have a discussion or something that we donate that to the ESP. And they can turn that into whatever the housing they would like for our community. I'm just throwing it out. Because my other thought is that we don't need the church for anything. Because we have enough buildings we have to look after. We don't need another one. And, can we sell it? Yeah, we could sell it too. But here we have somebody asking us to help them to create housing, and I think it's an awesome idea. And on top of that, when we bought this property, we didn't care about the church, we wanted the property. So the church is a little bit of a white elephant. Ah, there, yes. I'm really shaking your head. Have I stunned everybody? Not everybody's.
No, you haven't stunned me. Because I questioned why we bought this property to begin with, when we just had to tear it down if we want to use the land to be able to build. So now to hear that we bought the property and now we don't need that property that the church is on, what are we gonna do with the church then? That,
Well, no,
that's a bigger issue.
no, we still have the property, we still have that piece that we need, right?
We need it all if we were going with that project.
I don't think so, I think we just need part of it.
We needed the two lots that.
We
Yeah.
needed the two lots and we also need more.
Go ahead, sorry, Brian. I love it, everybody's sitting there clobbering that, wow.
First thing, you're making a national or an international, doesn't matter, thing, there was housing shortages, municipal affair, like you're bringing it down to our level that we can solve the problem. We can't.
No,
And as long as the provincial government and federal government do not do their share of supporting it or changing the things, it doesn't matter what we do at the municipal level, we are not going to change the thing. And I think it's very unfair that we take the position that we don't need that property when we're in in a time where we're trying to plan for the future without hurting us too much. We purchased that land for a specific reason. It wasn't it wasn't the we just didn't want one or couldn't get one. We had to buy two or nothing. And we had to purchase it to protect the west side of the arena, so we could get access to it. Because we didn't have it, and the fact that the church was being sold, could have been denied access to that west side of the arena. Which would have put us in a very big disadvantage for maintaining that side of the wall, those walls. But I don't think we're in a position, and even next year, a year after, of solving the problem of affordable housing. When it's gotta be done at the provincial level, and unless they throw money at it, or I should say throw money, but put money into that project, then opening up the church for a few houses is not gonna solve anything. Unfortunately, that's the way I feel about those things, so I don't think it's our job to look after a provincial federal matter.
Did a report come out where there is a huge chunk of money going to
When I see that,
businesses? Well, what was
Yeah.
would you not show that report to me? There is money out there, but there's a big stipulation, you have to have shovel ready.
and they've made it so hard that you can't.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this is kind of a meaningless conversation because it isn't a municipal job to look after housing. That's why we have a DSAB, which looks after all of the housing. So we're going to be looking at the possible reuse of that property. We would need to be working with our DSAB partners,
Sure.
not our own.
But I didn't say our own. Originally, my plan was that we work with DSP. They're asking us for help. I don't understand what, sorry, the whole report says, can you please help us? And why not?
So
Go ahead, John.
leading off what the mayor has just said, is there any reason why we couldn't ask DSAP as they're interested in looking at the church in itself as a potential piece of property to divide up into apartments? Let them do it, not us.
That's right. We've got the property.
That's right.
Can you use it for some housing,
Exactly.
situations?
So could we at least maybe go that far?
Oh, yeah,
And
that would be the step to do, rather than us
Yeah.
looking at any use of it. We've got the property, we don't need it for what we intended it for.
For the
So
time being.
if you can use it for housing, needed housing, then give us your best shot.
So would
That's
we-
what I asked though. That's the question I was asking.
So do we do that in the direction of staff or in a motion?
Hey,
Should
can I
we,
Can I just
Denise?
say something?
Yes.
First of all, any severance of the property is going to go well beyond the mandate of this council. So
Sure.
a severance will take months to complete, whereby this council will be completed, and it will be up to the next council to choose the path then of this building. So
Yep.
it's sure you can ask staff to write a letter, but it's going to be the next council that decides the fate of the church.
So Denise, if I may, I don't think we were asking for a severance. We're asking to see if DSAP would be interested in making use of that building. And I think
That building by DSEB would require a severance. We would have to sever off the portion of the property that would remain with the municipality, and DSEB would take the other portion.
I see.
If you put in apartments and that, then you're gonna need all the parking and everything, and that's the property that we needed, so.
If I may, to yours, Eric, the conversation did say something to the effect that even though we needed just the one lot, even if it was decided to sell that other piece of property with the church on it, could be an agreement for parking on what would be termed as municipal property.
No.
So we already have an agreement to look after snow removal and access to it, to that church property before we bought it. So there's no reason why the municipality couldn't say, well, okay, in this case, if you're having 4 units in there, you need 2 parking units per unit, that each space is not made available. If they're available on municipal land or the lot that we're after, then so be it,
Linda?
But there would be no harm in asking DSAB if they were interested, even if it does take years.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Madam
Yeah.
Chair,
Sure.
I'd like to see this before it goes any farther and any other discussion on a motion. Is somebody prepared to put a motion to advance this thing, or are we just spinning our tires here? Because I don't want to spend a lot of time on something that's not gonna fly, especially for this council. And if we can't do anything about it, then leave it to the next council. But if there's no motion forthcoming, then let's move on to the next piece of the next topic. Sorry.
Yeah, you have a comment?
The only thing with contacting DSP would be for them to consider it. They wouldn't put any asset into it or any resources, obviously right away, but they might look at it and consider it. The only other thing they might assess whether it's repurposed at all. But Denise is completely right, we could make a motion. And it would only go so far, the next council would deal with it. And definitely a severance isn't going to be in our time. So. Yeah, it's more of just a. You know. What's the word I'm looking for? A philosophical, question. And you might pose that question to them. But it's not gonna happen that quickly. The next council will deal with it. But a motion is. If you wanted to make a motion, I'm not on this committee, a motion to investigate and present that possibility to DBS and DSB. Yeah.
So I propose a motion.
I
Go
would
ahead.
just caution against a motion because, and the reason why is because it's the next council that's going to have to decide this. You want staff to go through the work, to contact DSAB to say if they're interested, and the next council might say, no, this isn't what we want to do. And we've done all this work and all this preparatory stuff for the next council to say, no. There's a lot of work that's involved in getting a severance, contacting DSAB, I mean, what if they want to start laying the ground for this kind of project, and in the end, the next council says no. So
If I may,
it's the decision best done by the next council.
if I may, Denise, this is just an ask to see if they're interested. This is not asking them to buy the property. And this is not asking staff to go through a severance. This is an ask to see if they might be interested in that building and property.
But that's a choice for the next council, not this council.
I would have to agree with you, but at this point, it's a position that could be made available to the next council by DSAP showing their interest or not showing their interest. So that one would be, you'd have your answer one way or the other. So council would go forward with it in the next session of council if they decide to.
So it would just be a letter asking them if they were interested.
Yeah, so that's why a direction might be more appropriate than a motion.
But why offer that opportunity if the next council doesn't want it?
That's right.
Yeah.
I think, Madam Chair, we're dealing with a long range plan, not a short range, and we've got a very short leash left in this council.
Madam Chair, I think we should be taking this right off the table and allow the next council to look after it.
Okay. All right, sounds good. There's no water. Next is FONOM, email correspondence urging Ontario to act as children's dances, compassionate intervention legislation. Could I please have that on the floor for us correspondence? Linda, thank you. Okay. And down to 9 reports. Fire chief verbal report, Bill?
Not just a verbal, I actually did have a little bit of time to talk. I gave you guys all a little written report.
Yep.
Probably the smallest one I've ever made. But I'll just go through it quick. So we are now in the fire season and people are already getting permits and are calling me before they light. It is good that the information has gotten out and most people are following the bylaw or actually reading the permits. They say, at the bottom of the permits, call the fire chief before you light. So the people are following direction and doing, it's just information gathering mostly. So so the next thing is I just put in bullet points, a couple of things that have been going on since our last meeting. I know I put the platoon chaplain first, but let me just go over the other ones and then I'll come back to the platoon chaplain. So compliance ready, what I mean by that is in order for us to be, do the exterior course put on by the Ontario Fire College, we have to make sure every single one of our appliances and our bunker gear or gloves and helmets and boots are up to standard, meaning they are within a certain amount of years. So, so we are supposed to be getting our bunker gear. We got 5 sets this year. And so that makes 25 of us all compliant to the standard for NFPA by the first week in May. We have gotten everybody on our department now has gloves, helmets, boots, balaclavas, masks, whatever you have. We do have, so everybody come for this exterior course end of May will have all the bunker gear and appliances up to date. So we will not be, we'll be ready. So the exterior attack course is coming up. We have 2 dates. Initially, we were going to do it all at once, 20 people, but the OFM and their fire college said they didn't want us to put all our fire department all at one course. And I see the reason in case we got a fire call during those 2 weekends. If we had to leave, they couldn't sign and say, yeah, we completed the course. They are very picky when they are up here. You can't leave for an hour or 2 hours. You have to be there every time. So what they agreed with us is we split it into 2 classes. So I have 10 people and 6 people from Tecma for the May 29th, 30th, and then April 5 to 7. So we have 10 people and 6 people from Tecma filling the first course here in Mid-Moria. And then in September, we will have the second course. The dates haven't been set yet, but coming September, we will all be compliant and certified as exterior attack. Now, if you guys are, any of you thinking, because July was our date to be all certified, I have been in contact with the OFM. As long as we show that we are doing our work, so I have approximately 16, including myself, and hopefully another 3, we will all have done our online course. That shows the OFM or the Solicitor General that we are doing the work and we have the next step in place. So even though 10 of us aren't going to be compliant as certified by July, they recognize that we are doing the work and we will be certified within a certain amount of time. So it has been approved by the Ontario Fire College and by the OFM for us to split into 2 classes. That way, in case we get a fire call during the first course, we still have enough people. And I split our men up that I have enough superior men in both classes that we're not going to be short. So we've covered. The next one is the fire instructor course. Going forward is the whole idea, and the whole island, all the municipalities have joined, and we'd like to be self-sufficient. We still need the evaluators to come up, but we want to have our own fire instructors as like the Ontario Fire College. So we had a course a couple of weeks ago, and myself was in it, even though I've taken the course about 10 years ago. It's a new course, and so we have about 11 people across the island, and we're taking the fire instructor course. The first one was good. The final date was supposed to be last weekend, but we were using the hall as the warming station or vac station. So we bumped it up to May 2nd and 3rd is going to be our final weekend. And so by that time, the island will have 11 fire instructors. That's only the first days. It has to be fire instructor 1, which is good for what we are doing, and then 2 and 3. But at least we're working for to be self-sufficient. We're not relying 100% on the fire call, right? So that's going forward. So by May 2nd and 3rd, we should have 11 people on the island certified to the fire instructor 1 course. We did the Easter egg hunt. We had 8 firefighters, including myself, and 2 trucks out there on that windy day, and it was raining. Still had a lot of kids, but not as many were getting on the fire trucks that day, that's for sure. The parents were holding the kids' hands and they walked right past the fire truck going, let's go home, it's too windy. But we were there and, we had a couple, kids get on, but it was still a good turnout and I appreciate my guys. Even on a cold, windy day, they did come out to support the Easter egg hunt. The last paragraph, or let me just step back to the platoon chaplain. Over the course of about 8-9 years, we've had about 7 deaths, not just in Central Manitoulin, but in our neighboring communities. We have a lot of support for our municipalities, our residents, or the people that have had the death happen to in their family, whatever. But we don't have a whole lot of support for our firefighters. Good example is about 6-7 years ago, when a little boy got run over by a tractor in Spring Bay. I don't know if you guys heard about that. It was actually one of our firefighters' nephew. But it affected a couple of our firefighters. They were on scene. And it affected them that they took almost a month off, 2 months off. And then in the last little while, we've had 3 deaths. That one of my captains, he was actually almost involved in all 3 deaths, right? In the last 3-4 months. And so the platoon chaplain reached out to me. It's a non-profit organization. And we had a chance to talk a couple of times. Dale, I believe you met with him the one time up at the Mobile Live Fire Training Unit. It's a nonprofit. They come around and non-denominational, it's just someone to talk to. Someone who has the training to talk to people in need. And so I invited him on March 26th. He had a really good talk with everybody. And at the same time, I had my wife. I don't know if everybody knows here that my wife was in a bad car accident, head on at Lockville. And it was a good learning curve for me. And so, he was able to talk to me, but it was also, he brought in the point that we live on an island. We don't live in Toronto. Firefighters down there very seldom respond to someone that they know in the accident or in the fire. We're here on the island, it's more likely someone or someone that is related to them, right? So I think it's a good thing. It's a non-profit organization. I've already signed an agreement. They don't ask for money, they ask for a donation of $200 a year. Some of my guys said, we'll give it, but some of my firefighters said they would gladly donate the $200, like a portion of it. But I don't think it should be them. I think if possible, if I can ask for $200 once a year donation to the platoon. If we can't afford it, he was very clear, don't worry about it. One of my firefighters, Jamie Greenwood, he's actually out of Spring Bay. He actually joined the platoon chaplains. So he's their representative, so he can talk. But they're from Huntsville, and I think it's a good organization. And us as firefighters, we do need someone to talk to, and it would be nice. So going forward, I don't know how to put this out to. I've never had the money in that situation. So what would be the next step? Denise, how do I ask? Oh, she's not there.
So yeah, Gary, it is just an ask. Normally, request for donations does go to Office of Administration.
Okay.
So the request should go to there.
Okay, so I do have the paperwork at my office, so I'm just asking if it would be something that would be, thought about or talked about for a $200 donation for the platoon, chaplain platoons. Okay. Okay, so that was my little rant. cause they hit home this past couple months with my wife being in the accident. So we have been busy, we've been working hard to be ready and we are excited to keep going with the training. But let me just close with the thought of how proud I am of my guys to come out to support the community. What I mean by that is, let me just read you the text that, when, we had the one meeting and, the staff and, the CAO asked for, the use of the firefighters, the fire department. And I said, yes, I'll put it out there. So, my deputy, he put out there to the multi-text. So at 5 p.m., there's going to be a tone out to fill sandbags. Please treat this as you would a fire call. It is a call to conserve life and property for our community. Phil will be keeping track of your hours. I didn't need to read that. But so they responded. I was so proud that they, 3/4 of the guys, and I asked every someone, 3/4 of them had water in their basement and they left their house. And that's what community is all about. And so I'm glad I have a great crew of 13 firefighters that came out. The first day, then I had 7 the following day to come out and fill sandbags. And they were out there, filling bags nonstop. And it wasn't just that, we know that, there was other community. But I feel glad that, we were able to use the fire department to help with filling sandbags. Did evacuate one lady, you guys did hear about that little meeting, and that's what we're there for. And we asked her and she agreed to it, we brought her here and everything went well. And that is my report.
Thanks, Phil. Well done. Lots of information. Can I have a motion to accept Phil's report, please? Brian, Richard? Okay,
Got one question for Phil, if I could.
sure. Go ahead.
With the new training curriculum that you have to do, I understand that some communities on the island are not doing the new curricular training. Can you then still do mutual aid with that fire department, being that they're not in compliance with the new NFPA standard?
Speaking of that, come next Monday, the 27th, I do have a fire chief meeting, and that is what we are going to be discussing. Michael Addison is the deputy, and Dwayne Elliott is the lead for the mutual aid agreement or fire chief's mutual aid. They have it written up. They've taken a long time to do it. They've gone down to a couple conferences and had a lot of work because of a lot of new stuff that's coming through. That point is one of the main things. We do have some neighboring townships that aren't going to be compliant, and they were very diligent in finding out how or what they can do or what we can do to still cover them or not cover them. But so that is a big concern, and it's going to be talked about this coming Monday, next Monday.
Okay.
And it is a concern, especially when we know, I'm not going to say what councils, but there's a few around us that aren't doing the course or aren't going to be compliant. So how do we going forward?
Yeah, it would affect our insurances and WSIDs and everything if you're trying to work with a department that's not compliant.
It's not necessarily, I don't want to get into this, but it's not necessarily us going to them, it's them coming to us that will affect, right?
So
So
would us going to them too, because then they're in charge.
they're in charge, but we're more qualified, so, but it's them coming here if they get.
Yeah.
So, but again, I will find out and and obviously after I get the agreement, I have to bring it to you guys,
Thank you.
okay?
Thanks, Phil. Anybody else have any questions for Phil? No. Okay, next is animal control report, February, March 2026. Motion for that, please. Linda, thank you. Brian, thank you. Any questions on that report? Next is the CEMC verbal update, flood emergency. From Sue.
Okay, so we had a flood.
Really?
You're all aware,
Good.
I'm your new EMC. That was a great experience. We know that the MNR has no plans on, opening up Big Lake yet. We're just waiting for that. So, you know, everybody's really aware of what's happening, but in a nutshell, it's that will add, to the headaches that we have. So hopefully things run smoother that way if they're waiting and there's some place for the water to go at that point. So, we will be notified from them. The hospital remains closed and that's a big for this municipality. It's a high priority issue that is being monitored. We're just waiting for everything to settle down with them. They're monitoring the height of the flow of their mills that they have up there. So we'll know more at the next Thursday emergency management control group. Lake Minnemoya area through Prov, still flooded in a lot of areas. Both bridges are full. All roads currently are open now. We've had regularly a few roads closed throughout the municipality with this flooding. Everything is open as of now. There is still some water over the roads in some areas. I think right now mainly touching Cookham. I was there this morning and still a good flow through there. Roads are broken up in some areas. The guys are doing a great job at trying to get things patched and set. But we have put out in our social media and website to drive with caution and go slow because the roads are soft. So bringing on the 211 notification and communication protocol public inquiry service. They'll be assisting us through the rest of this emergency and will be great to have on hand for if we ever have other issues. So as you can imagine, we've been very busy in the office. There's a lot of people wanting answers. We don't always have all the answers, but we're doing the best we can to field those calls. So this will be very helpful in the future and moving forward from this point. It was decided in a last group session that the declared emergency will remain in effect. And in speaking with EMO, he felt that that is a great idea anyway, because you don't want to give people a false impression of everything being okay and back to normal until we know what is going on to make sure that everything is set. So there's no pressure to end that. So we can take our time in assessing as we go. Great sandbag packing, volunteers, everything went amazing. It's everyone saying how heartwarming it is to have seen the amount of people, our fire department, staff, everybody just working hard and making sure not just our municipality, but anybody. We're reaching our hand out to anybody, and that is very important. I can say that working with Emergency Management Ontario through this whole one of the first things I did was call them, and my being very new at this position, really no training yet, but they've been with me every step of the way. And we get gold stars on how we've handled this. They are very happy with us, how we worked, how the communication, and to see what we have pulled off in this, the event that was kind of thrown on us. So yeah, the sandbags, we are still currently offering sandbags for people to come. I think there's still quite a number of sandbags available already set to go, and anybody can come and fill sandbags if they need. So there's discussions that we're having on what to do with that sand after and the sandbags, so that we'll see when that happens. Waves Trail is being assessed. Waiting for report to come back from maintenance. And all municipal programs are canceled until Monday. Till the 27th. And the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, we're working with them regarding any funding that's coming up for municipal on the municipal level and the, for the community. I know that there's a bit of a process before they could send out a team to assess, so we're just, that's pending further information. And, yeah, we'll have more information, I think, on that with our next group session. And again, this, whole situation, it really proved a lot between our staff, volunteers, community, how we pulled together to handle this. So, from my standpoint, I can say I'm amazed and very happy that we pulled this off so far. So, any questions?
Richard?
Question, just a comment, thank you and your team and the people from the office that did just step up and manage everything so well, and certainly the fire department and roads and maintenance all did a super job. So I certainly thank you for your report, and I thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Motion to accept our report, verbal report. Richard? Linda? Okay, thank you. And the last, financial, year-to-date revenue and expense report ending March 31st, 2026. Brian, you like to make a motion on that one? Yep. Sorry, John and Brian, thank you, thank you. Anybody have any questions?
I have one. I wondered about, account 429, 7,000. And it's an inspection of livestock and poultry. And it's up to 90.8% already. Do we have a lot of?
That is an in and out. Anything that we pay out on that is reimbursed by the ministry OMAF. So it could be a year over year thing where they put their applications in last year and we're paying it out this year. But like I said, it's fully refunded by OMAF.
Anybody have more questions? Oh, yes.
Insurance.
Oh, insurance.
Yes. I'll just mention, I want to comment.
Hmm,
7,000 more.
yeah,
What was your pleasure, Mr. Mitchell?
What's that?
it was the budget. Anybody else? We're good? Okay. Adjournment. So, a motion for that, please? Yes, Ryan, I see that. Linda, you're good for that? Thank you. All right,
Okay,
on to the next.
go to 5-minute break.
Great.
Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes, Denise, let's try to decide.
I will reset the recording and we can start in about 5 or 10 minutes.
See you there.
Do the meeting.
I don't know, that's funny, correct?
Huh?
What?
Yeah.
Tuesday.